The Maritime program for the Horn of Africa started in 2014. The program has mentored law enforcement units in 3 locations, being Mogadishu, Posaso and Berbera. One of the rationales for the program is to secure the economic future for countries in the region. The waters off Horn of Africa provide enormous economic opportunity for the countries adjacent to those waterways. And secondly, the Horn of Africa area plus the Red Sea account for a large amount of world trade, and it's important that those waters are secured for that trade. In Mogadishu, we support the Maritime Police Unit, which is part of the Somali Police Force.
UNODC is currently busy with the Maritime Police Unit. We are currently involved with them, giving training, basic seamanship, swimming, as well as vessel boarding, search and seizure courses.
Wait for that one.
Yes, it's blue.
And then go straight,
Yes,
okay?
Yes.
All right, good.
UNODC's main objective to this is to have the SPF, the Somali Police Force, be a self-sufficient, self-reliant and operating force, which will be a force to reckon with to get the crime alleviated in this area. What we're going to do now is we're going to simulate a drowning. Okay, there the exercise is starting now.
The approach that UNODC takes with its programming in the mentored units is we have embedded mentors placed in all our locations. They receive hard skills and technical assistance in the environments they're actually working in. The equipment that the units need, whether that be boats, radio equipment, fuels, spare parts and supplies. We've also built up the infrastructure that the units rely on.
There's a definite opportunity here to make a change. Operational wise, there's a need now to start going over to the bigger boats. We've now taught them on the small boats.
We are right now in seaboat. Yeah, we are very proud to be here and to do our work. It's not comfortable place, but we are in soldier. We take a life like this.
If you look at the infrastructure currently at the seaport, they have got no offices, don't have a floating jetty. The boats are tied up on anchor line moorings. So what we as UNODC strive for is to have an operational ops room, operations room and radio room built in the seaport, a decent mooring where the boats can be moored and maintained. Once we have that, we can make this work.
Berbera has seen the influx of large migrant flows to and from Yemen through its ports. The war in Yemen has had a significant effect on that. The Coast Guard there assists where it can.
The Major just explained that there's 2 boats that is going to go doing the patrolling in the coast area to secure the security and fight any illegal activities that is taking place in the 100 kilometers coast guard in the Somaliland coast, and that will be pirates, illegal fishing and human trafficking.
So what we find is that while migrants are leaving other parts of Africa through Somalia, it's often the case that people who have been smuggled consensually end up being trafficked against their will. Importantly, the Coast Guard have arrested and investigated, and we've seen criminal charges brought against those people involved in the trafficking of persons. The Berbera Coast Guard itself has a sophisticated operations room that UNODC, with the cooperation of EU CAP Somalia and Oceans Beyond Piracy, were fitted out in a refurbished room at the Coast Guard base in Berbera.
The reason why they have the sea vision is the security. If any illegal activities that's taking place in the Coast Guard area, they can see it from here and they will know exactly the location that they can go to.
My mom was T9.
Before they used to use the telephones, but the telephones belongs to certain companies. Sometimes the switch their antenna off and it will be hard to communicate between others, but the radio is very reliable. And also it's very important as you can reach the regional countries around them. So we can reach all the way down to Kenya, or all the way down to Yemen, or all the way down to Djibouti. So it's a communication of informing each other what's taking place in the region. We just came into the classroom. This is a classroom that the Coast Guards, they take their trainings on behalf of UNODC. UNODC provides the trainings that is needed to be provided.
والله نوع توبر كلا دوين بدو اللغة وحوي وحنحل إن أنا قدرت شنادي.
To him, it's education, education, education. The importance of having these classes here is way important than having some person in the middle of the sea who don't know how to communicate, who can inform people the security alerts that's taking place.
We find constantly being requested for more training. An example of successful training we've done recently was visit board search and seizure training, which took place in Seychelles. That involved actually getting officers from each of our units, and they trained together. This was one of the first times that these units had ever come together, and we find that that builds networks between the different units operating in Somalia. So what we've found in Posaso particularly is the destabilising effect of the war in Yemen. The issue around this increases the potential threat faced with terrorism. Weapons are being trafficked into Puntland, are going to Al-Shabaab, as well as we've seen the emergence of ISIS.
It's clear there's a direct connection between the tourists and the illegal woman that is coming from Yemen. He said they buy this weapon, they brought themselves, and we have a lot of challenges because the Yemen has a long coast and Somalia has a long coast. So it's difficult for us to control these illegal weapons. This weapon is illegally, they come from Yemen. They put inside the rice and dates. Even if they brought this weapon for business purpose, still the tourists, they will take advantage of this because they will buy, so they will end up with the tourists.
One of the major projects and achievements of the program has been the completion of Posaso headquarter building, which will provide a safe and secure environment for the police to plan their operations. It will provide a space that they can receive theoretical and practical training, and it's also hoped that we'll be able to provide workshop facilities so they can maintain their fleet of boats. What we're seeing in Posaso is a re-emergence of piracy. There have been a number of incidents in the last 6 months, culminating recently in the arrest and detention of 3 pirates who were committing piracy off the port of Posaso.
He said the reason why the pirates come back now is that the ships are coming very close to the Somali coast. Now it seems that they are not afraid. He said we are here only 5 days. Other prisoners, they told us there is opportunity to learn tailoring, to learn masonry, to learn electricity, and they will be happy to have those opportunities. When we get out, we will do our legal activities, legal work. We know how this hard is, how it's risky. We will be here for almost 5 years in prison, and we will not return to piracy anymore.
The Global Maritime Crime Program helps with the rehabilitation of convicted pirates as part of its detention and transfer program. This work has also included the improvements to infrastructure at the prison in Posaso. The drivers of piracy still exist in Somalia. You still have a fragile state. The economic opportunities for young men are limited, and that's why UNODC believes the program itself of securing the lifelines, the ports on the Somali coastline, is one of the measures that will assist in creating economic opportunity for Somalia going forward.